It's been nearly 160 years since an assassin's bullet cut Abraham Lincoln's life short. Now, as America finds itself in yet another era of stark political divisions, actor Scott Bakula is bringing the 16th president's legacy and message back into the spotlight as he portrays Lincoln in a one-man show at Ford's Theater, the site where he was mortally wounded. It's our Sunday special.
Well, I have to be honest, Jesse. I must admit that the taste is in my mouth a little to become president. But there are other men far more capable than I am.
Actor Scott Bakula is known for taking audiences back in time with his hit science fiction series Quantum Leap. But this fall, the longtime veteran of stage and screen shares a very different glimpse into the past with Mr. Lincoln, an intimate one-man play that pulls back the curtain on the triumphs, tragedies, and decisions that shaped one of history's most revered leaders in our nation's most divided moment.
You are a seasoned, award-winning actor, but how do you tackle something like this?
It's daunting, not just the fact of doing a one-man show, but doing Lincoln. The play goes from all different aspects and approaches in his life and times in his life. If you're memorizing the Gettysburg Address, that's one kind of work because that's something that kind of in your head you kind of know. But if I'm talking to Mary Lincoln, that's a different kind of memorization.
Adding to the emotional weight of Bakula's onstage performance is the play's venue, Ford's Theater, the very site of Lincoln's assassination.
The gravity of being in this place is partially because of the history that was made here.
Yeah, that's the Lincoln box. That is a sacred space up there.
But you mentioned it is going to be referenced in the show.
Yes, very much so.
There's acknowledgement of it.
Yes, almost right from the get-go. I think it was important to do that because otherwise it just looms over the top, over the whole show, and the show isn't about that. You don't know what got us there, and you don't know what happened to that man before.
And it sounds like people will obviously be entertained, but they're going to be educated at the same time.
Yes, they are.
Educating audiences on what led to such a pivotal moment in our nation's history is a critical part of the theater's mission. The venue features a one-of-a-kind museum where dozens of artifacts, including the small Derringer pistol used by John Wilkes Booth, offer a unique view into a country torn apart by war and Lincoln's ultimately fatal struggle to put it back together.
This is so much more than a theater here.
Yeah.
It's really special.
It's a working theater, but it's also a history place, it's a museum, and to be able to see, this is the knife that John Wilkes Booth held up and yelled, "Sic Semper Tyrannis," 160 years ago. We have that here.
But despite its tragic past, theater director Paul Tatro says political violence isn't the main takeaway from this historic space.
We use the assassination as an entry point, but what we really want to talk about is Lincoln's legacy. And you look back at Lincoln and you think, he was just a man.
That humanity, along with Lincoln's unshakable resolve in the face of war, political division, and personal heartache, is what the play's leading man hopes the audience discovers about the 16th president.
I get surprised every day. I didn't know that he'd loaded his cabinet with people that he ran against, so he had voices in there all the time, constantly, that had the other side of an opinion or not necessarily had his back. I didn't know that when he lost his second son, that he was heard at night howling in pain. You could hear him outside the White House. He dealt with so much death in his life and figured out how to keep going because he believed in something and he believed he had a mission and he stayed with it.
Of course, to many, the mission of uniting a divided America seems just as daunting in 2024 as 1864.
Of course, we think of President Lincoln and just how deep those divisions, how split this country was. Do you see parallels now?
Oh, the parallels are too many to count. We are in a time now where it seems a lot of people feel like there's no going back or whatever, all the rhetoric, and we can't reach across the aisle. We can't solve this problem. And the Civil War was pretty serious. You can't get worse than that. But I think at the end of the day, we have to say that, and this play is about that, but that there is hope because we're here.
There is hope. Mr. Lincoln plays at Ford's Theater until October 13th. If you happen to find yourself here in the nation's capital, you can get more information and tickets to the show at the museum as well at fords.org. And just